Orleans. Some people still aren't recovered from it, in fact.
Yeah, that's the case for a lot of people in New Orleans East, and that's where I grew up. That community used to be in the 60s and 70s, it was really going through an economic boom. Everything was going really well there. But it started to take a sort of an economic downturn right before the storm, and right as they were about to try to fix this, the storm hit and everything just it just kept going downward. For people in New Orleans East, we're now 2 decades out, and they're still demanding if we can get at least a shopping center, if we can at least have a second major grocery store, or if we can get someone to just kind of rebuild what it made us so economically sound a few decades ago.
New Orleans East was truly a mecca. The Lake Forest Plaza was the real it, you know, with the skating rink and the stores. I mean, it was truly just a paradise in many ways.
Tangi Walls saw the vision. Tangi would settle in the more affluent Eastover subdivision, and you could see its appeal. An exclusive country club-style neighborhood with beautiful views of a man-made lake and a sprawling landscape.
You're looking at the breach itself. 400 feet of wall is missing.
Like a majority of New Orleans, when the levees broke and floodwaters rushed into the city, the East was devastated.
When my family evacuated to Baton Rouge, everyone was in a devastated state of mind, condition, couldn't believe it. It was like no other experience, I think, in my life. It mobilized me and my family.
It's just hard to fathom. Look at that. Those are homes.
After about 3 weeks to a month of not hearing anything, we began to say, well, what are we going to do? It's our responsibility to really find out what's going on in our neighborhoods. We were called East New Orleans United and Whole.
Right.
And it was a group of residents like myself, family, friends, neighbors, community, strangers that all got to know each other from the neighborhoods that all had the same feelings. What's going on in New Orleans East?
It was no goodness of our own, but it's your love and your grace.
20 years later, the group now known as New Orleans East Matters continues to ask that question. It's clear when you drive around the East today, prosperity seen decades earlier is replaced by long stretches of underused land and hollowed commercial corridors. The oil crash of the 80s slowed growth, and Hurricanes Katrina's floodwaters dealt another deadly blow. Though we've seen some progress, residents say they still live in Katrina's shadow.
We were originally supposed to be a very strong middle-class community primarily for black people who had wealth, who had jobs, who had assets. And so New Orleans East families had a chance to try to figure out, so are we going to continue that?
I'm going to say the biggest thing, Charisse, is investment. There has to be some investment there.
Still, economic corridors are barren.
Was there ever a strategy or a strategic plan that just never played out for New Orleans East?
Shortly after Katrina, in the master planning strategies, and they were doing master planning for several communities throughout New Orleans.
Turning canals into parks and revitalizing decaying shopping centers and strip malls into outdoor plazas.
And it was never really a substantial enough plan to really, really see a plan, a strategy, to really come to fruition for the East. We need everybody at the table, who can put together a 10 to 15-year strategy. But there has to be the political will to do that.
Collins says collaboration and incentives can go a long way. Take the Magnolia Marketplace located on the Claiborne Avenue corridor, for instance. The council created a special economic development district and approved a 1-cent temporary sales tax to finance bonds to get that project going.
We have got to have incentives to be able to lure businesses here.
According to commercial real estate broker Robert Hand, there are millions bleeding out of the large community.
What I found when I talked with residents in New Orleans East is we want businesses to come in and take a chance on us. Well, that's not going to happen. Businesses come in because they think they can make money. So I did the research. I dug deep into where people are spending their money that live there. This is just in New Orleans East. They spend $82 million, but there are only $53 million in grocery store sales. That's a gap. That's an opportunity for a business to come in and capture that $29 million difference. They are spending money outside the area because businesses are not in the area. So what I found was a misperception that New Orleans East does not attract businesses.
But even Robert admits the communities that inhabit the East faced another challenge: stigma. One residents and local leaders say is real and persistent, despite a downward trend in violent crime across the board.
We have a Marriott Express in New Orleans East now that just opened. Marriott brought their brand to New Orleans East. Why? Because crime was going down. They see the potential. What people are doing and not asset building in the East, they're actually participating into running us out of our community and away from our home. Because the New Orleans East is representative of the largest collection of black homeowners of any municipal district. So why do we keep leading with how bad the East is?
Meanwhile, the lower Ninth Ward, the poster child of Katrina's devastation, faces problems similar to New Orleans East.
All you see is water, pretty much, and the tops of roofs.
Before the storm, more than 14,000 residents, mostly multi-generational homeowners, call the lower Ninth Ward home. Today, there are less than 5,100.
The damage was documented, it's legitimate. Where do those dollars go to? We're 20 years out still trying to get these blocks to look like city block. We're in the 1,000 block of Lazardi, right off of St. Claude. When we first got news about Katrina, we were evacuated. I just left a few days before. Did not plan to evacuate.
That's a lot of people from New Orleans.
Yeah. First time. I always went vertical, got a hotel in local, but didn't travel that much. We had little kids. When we evacuated, the first thing I realized it was really serious is that I saw on the news the word Lazardi with water, only half of the word. That was my first kind of jolt. Like, we're not going to be able to get home as quickly as I really had envisioned. It's been a difficult road, but you know, some of us did get back. We did community planning. We asked people to do some insurmountable things. We were already homeless, and yet we are asking each other, hey, how do we envision our community to be back?
The government failed everybody around here, and I'm sick and tired of it.
How much of this is going to come down to literally just neighborhood associations doing the rebuilding because they're losing hope in local and state government?
Literally, that is the only reason we have the houses we have right now, because we took it upon ourselves to develop a community association and to do a redevelopment plan and to do a disaster recovery center. We literally went out, put our own dollars up, raised the other dollars. It was not because of a public effort. They found us working and then tried to jump on a bandwagon because they were embarrassed into action.
When they said they found you working, is that the work you did with Nina?
Yes, the work I did with Nina. I'm the founder of Lower Ninth Ward, Nina. We have a lot of families that are continuing to come back every day, and we're shopping elsewhere. Every day we go to buy our groceries, our the malls, and all of those things. We don't have those services around here. That was established to redevelop and get our folk home because there was nobody here. As a matter of fact, the public officials literally were telling me, Trish, you know, tell the people to move somewhere else. It's not happening. The only reason that a community is not back is because of either failed policies or faulty policies.
Right.
So you can have a good policy and fail to implement it properly, or you can design a policy that's intentional to block folk from coming home.
What policy would that be?
One policy we had was we thought the road home policies was going to help get people back, hence the word road home.
Right.
But there was stuff in the policy that made it very difficult for folk to actually get home, right? You put in the word framework pre-Katrina value. right, immediately knocked out 75% of people's recovery.
I quickly found that because of the way they had created the program, the Road Home program, and giving grants based on the value of the house, not on the cost of rebuilding each house, you ended up in a situation where the same exact house, same size, same materials in two different neighborhoods, one majority black, one majority white, were getting different amounts of money because of the historically lower values of homes in black neighborhoods.